So, sorry. And if we take the second view, it means that what? No, it means that la taqrabu salat, do not attempt the prayer. It is the prayer that has been prohibited. So it is prohibited for a person that is impure or for a lady that is menstruating to come close to salah. There is a say. There is a say. There is contemplation regarding qiyas of ha'id al-junub. لأن الحائض معذورة, because the menstruating woman is excused. ولا يمكن أن تغتسل قبل أن تطهر. She has no ability to take bath and to become pure before she becomes purified until that menses stops. While ولا تملك رفع,
she has no any ability to raise that impurity, to raise that menstruation from herself, unless if it has stopped by itself. بخلاف الجنوب فيمكنه الاغتسال. Contrary to who? Al-junub. Because that one, anytime, anywhere, he can decide to just go and take bath. The second one is hadith Jasra binti Dajaja and Aisha and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, inni la uhillu al-masjid al-ha'id wala junub. So I do not permit staying in the masjid for the ha'id wala junub, or the one that is impure. Wa ajaba al-mubayyib bi anna al-hadith da'if. The hadith is weak. لا يصلح للاحتجاج به فإن مداره على جسرة وهي لا تحتمل التفرد. There is one among the scholars named Jasra, and you know, sometimes there are scholars that if they mention a hadith, if there is anyone that is backing them up, yes, it's acceptable. But if there is no one that is backing them up, so you just hang the hadith just until you find another hadith that is backing it up. So the third one is hadith Atiyya anna Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam amara bi ikhraj al-awatiq wa dhawat al-qudur wal huyyad fi salat al-eid liyashhadna al-khair. That Allah, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has ordered so to bring out all the young ladies and the ones that are highly dignified, wal huyyad, and even the menstruating ladies fi salat al-eid liyashhadna al-khair, for them to witness the good, wa da'wat al-muslimin, and the callings of the Muslims. وَيَعْتَزِلُ الْحُيَّضَ الْمُسَلَّى. So the huyyad, the menstruating women, should isolate themselves from the place of prayer. قالوا فإذا كان هذا في شأن مصلى العيد فالمسجد أولى بالمنع. So they said, since Musalla al-Eid is an open place, it's not even the masjid itself, but they are asked to what? لِيَعْتَزِلْنَا الْمُسَلَّى, so they will isolate themselves from it. So what of the masjid? It is even far better, I mean, بَعْدِ أَوْلَى أَنْ يَعْتَزِلْنَهُ. No. So فَأَجَابَ الْمُبِيحُونَ بِأَنَّ الْمُرَادَ بِالْمُصَلَّى في الحديث الصلاة. ليعتزلن المصلى, it means like the first one, ليعتزلن الصلاة, so they are not to pray. It is not that they are not to enter the place, no, they are just not to pray. So if they are not praying, they should not be inside sufuf now, they should just isolate themselves and sit somewhere else. So that is basically what they mean. فإن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وأصحابه كانوا يصلون العيد في الفضاء لا في المسجد, because the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم and his Sahaba used to be praying Salatul Eid fil fada, in an open place, la fil masjid, wal ardu kulluha masjid, and the earth, all of it is a place of prayer. لا يجوز أن يخص المنع بعض المساجد دون البعض. ثم قد روي الحديث نفسه بلفظ أفأما الحويض فيعتزلن الصلاة. In the other version of the hadith said فأما الحويض, the menstruating woman, فيعتزلن الصلاة, they should isolate themselves from prayer. This one is more clarifying than the other version. وهي في صحيح مسلم وغيره. حديث عائشة, the fourth one said كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يصغي إلي رأسه, and the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم used to put out his head to me, وهو مجاور في المسجد, while he was sitting inside the masjid, فأرجله, and I will come and brush his head, وأنا حائض. قالوا فامتنعت من ترجيله في المسجد. So the ones that are prohibiting staying in the masjid, they said فامتنعت من ترجيله في المسجد لأنها حائض. She did not enter into the masjid and brush his head or comb his head because he is حائض. وأجاب المبيحون, the ones that are living, that they are saying that it is permissible for her to stay, بأنه they said بأنه ليس صريحا فيما استدل به, there is nothing clear about it. فقد يكون عدم دخولها لعلة أخرى. What makes her not to enter might be due to another reason, not that reason. And قاعدة أصولية بقى إذا دخل الاحتمال بطل الاستدلال. If there is any possibility of anything or another thing, so for you to just say maybe it is due to this, maybe it is due to that, so everybody can come and mention his own maybe. So بطل الاستدلال. نعم لدخول علة أخرى كأن يكون بالمسجد رجال ونحو ذلك. There is another probability that inside that masjid there might be another men. There might be men inside. So why should he enter into the masjid and just comb his head and go back? So there is so many maybes that can enter this place. But maybe it's time for prayer. Maybe there is this. Maybe she is cooking. Maybe. So many maybes can enter. So that's by the way. So there are so many. There are like 2 or 3 more pages, and we are short on time. But we can see all what they mentioned. There is something that is contradicting or that is in opposing to what they are saying. So basically, Malam said, for him, he is still staying. Manzila bayna al-manzilatayn. Let me borrow this. So he is not very clear that all the reasons that said al-ha'id she should not enter the masjid. It's not clear. It's not a clear-cut phenomenon. So, but he has no clear-cut answer that they should enter. So for him, he is staying in the midline. While others say no, because of this and this and this, all these verdicts, they say that in kana illa she can enter. While if she is not, if there is no any reason for her, no, she should just stay out. While the Jamahir, the majority of the ulama were on the view of what? No, she should, if she is moving, if she is crossing the masjid or is entering and going out, then no problem. But that is another issue. Let me just say for now, at least we have learned something about it, inshallah. So, mashallah. Madam said, page 14, inshallah, khayru nisa'il alamin. Khayru nisa'il alamin. The best woman in the whole world, in the whole universe. Let me say Miss Universe, the greatest Miss Universe. Malam said, Man hiya khayru nisa'il alamin radiyallahu anha. Who is the best woman of the whole world and of the whole universe? May Allah be pleased with her. Malam said, there is no doubt, there is no question. Malam said, hiya ummul mu'minin Khadijah bint Khuwaylid bin Asad bin Abdul Uzza bin Qusay radiyallahu ta'ala anha. Her name is Khadijah bint Khuwaylid. Tasghir of Khalid bin Asad bin Abdul Uzza bin Qusay radiyallahu anha. She is also from she is also a Qurashiyya. Masmu ummiha radiyallahu ta'ala anha. Malam said, wa ummuha Fatimah bint Zaidah ibn al-Asam. That's the name of her mother. So we can see the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been encircled by a cycle of Fatima, al-Fatimat. We know his daughter is Fatima. Fatima bint Asad, the mother of Sayyidina Ali, was also Fatima. So now his wife's, his mother-in-law is also another Fatima. So many Fatima, Al-Fawatim. So Malam said, وَمَا هِيَ كُنْيَتُهَا رَضِيَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى عَنْهَا. What's her kunya? Her, what do you call it? Her nickname. Thank you. Every time I used to remember this word. Don't mind me. No. Yes. So the difference, there are 3 types of name in Arabic في اللغة. Either alam أو الكنية أو اللقب. The ideal one for nickname is the laqab. So like for example, Amir's name is Malam Mukhtar. So his laqab now is Amir. Yeah, now. So kunya is like you are adding Abu Wani or Ibn Wani to it. That's the ideal. So do you know the name in English? That's what I mean now. So by the way, we will just use it as nickname for now. But we understand, kunya means Abu Wani or Ibn Wani. That's by the way. While laqab is the real nickname. Like Malam Mukhtar will be calling him Amir. Now. And Malam Wani will be calling, while for laqab, Malam Abdullah will be calling him Abu Muhammad, Abu Murtada. But that means coming soon. Now, we are just hoping because Malam is unconjugated, unpluripotent, uncommitted. We know what I mean then. Now, so Malam said, Kadat Khadija radiyallahu anha tukanna bi Ummi Hindin. Nana Khadija used to be nicknamed Ummi Hindin. Ibn Hamin Abi Hal, one of our children, we mentioned them last week, his name was Hind. So, Hala, Abi Hala, that her husband, had two children, Bihala and then Hind. So she used to be called Ummi Hindin. So later we will see Mahi Al-Qabu Khadija bint Khuwailid radiyallahu ta'ala anha. What are her nicknames proper? Now we are talking about the nicknames. So Al-Qabuha kathira. She has so many nicknames. Among them, At-Tahira, the pure. Awladin Nabi, the mother of the children of the Prophet. Mu'minin, the mother of the whole Mu'minin, radiyallahu ta'ala anha. Malam said, Mata wulidat Mu'minin Khadija bint Khuwailid, radiyallahu ta'ala anha. When was she born? Malam said, ولدت المؤمنين خديجة بنت خويلد رضي الله عنها قبل مولد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ب15 سنة. For those that said that her age was 40 years before getting married to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so that means she is older than the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam by 15 years. So while the others that said that she is at 25th year, she is older than him by 3 years, she was 28 years, that means she is older than him by 3 years. So وقيل ب3 سنوات. بثلاث سنوات. We know there are خطأ مطبعي because the 3 ideally in Arabic from 3 to 10 it has to be جمع مضاف. So 3 سنوات. Malam said ومتى أسلمت المؤمنين خديجة بنت خويلد رضي الله عنها. We all mentioned this the last week, so that is why I'm not repeating it. We mentioned about the perimenopausal era and also scientifically and feasibility, availability and feasibility of everything. She is 40 and she added 25 years and she gave birth to 6 children. Between them there are like 2 or 3 years in between. So it is possible, but al-amru ba'id. Now, Malam said, وَمَتَى أَسْلَمَتْ أُمُّ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ خَدِيجَةَ بِنْتُ خُوَيْلِدٍ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى عَنْهَا. Malam said, when did she enter into Islam? Malam said, وَهِيَ أَوَّلُ مَنْ أَسْلَمَ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ كَمَا تَقَدَّمَ. She was the first from the ladies, from the women that entered Islam, as mentioned earlier. We know there is this kind of things. One hadith will come and say the first person to be a believer was Sayyidina Ali. The other one will come and say Zaidu. The other one will come and say Nana Khadija. The other one will come and say this. So the first person to link between them and segregate them into awwal man amana min an-nisa, this, awwal man amana min ar-rijal, this, awwal man amana min as-sibyan, this, awwal man amana min al-mawali, this, was who? Abu Hanifa, Nu'man bin Thabit radiyallahu ta'ala, who was the first person to segregate it and say that no, the first person the first believer among the males, matured males, was Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala, while the first person to be a believer from the women was Nana Khadija radiyallahu ta'ala anha. But we can also say that generally after all that happened, where did he went? To Nana Khadija. So we can unanimously say that the first person to be a believer was Nana Khadija radiyallahu ta'ala anha, because all the ahadith that mentioned, even the the hadith of Nana Aisha في كتاب بدء الوحي ثم حبب إلى الخلاء فكان يتحنث في غار إله والتعبد, up to the place that said ثم جاءه الملك فقال اقرأ فقلت ما أنا بقارئ. After all that, اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق, he rushed directly to Nana Khadija and said, Zammiluni. The second time, Dathiruni. That's, by the way, cover me up. What happened? She mentioned everything to him. So we are going to see it in a bit and we'll explain later, inshallah. Malam said, هل تزوجت المؤمنين خديجة بنت خويلد قبل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم? Did she get married to any other person before the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم? Malam said, oh yes, نعم. تزوجت المؤمنين خديجة بنت خويلد بأبي هالة هند بن النباش. She first got married to Hind ibn Nabash, the one that was nicknamed Abi Hala. ولما مات تزوجها عتيق بن عايد أو عايد أو عائذ. There are so many riwayat about it. So ثم افترقا. So some say she got married to Abi Hala first and then later Ibn A'id, while some said no, it is the contrary. But so whatsoever she got married in Hala twice before the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of them passed while the other one she got divorced from him. So, but the interesting thing was that all her children, the whole of her children, were good people. They all entered Islam. They all get into battles of Islam. They were all engaged in raising the morale of the Islam radiallahu ta'ala anhum. They are all among the Sahaba. All those, the Hind, the other Hind, the Hala and others. So that is, by the way. Malam said, تزوجها النبي متى تزوج النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بأم المؤمنين متى تزوج النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أم المؤمنين خديجة رضي الله تعالى عنها. Malam said, تزوجها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لما بلغ 25 سنة, when he was 25 years old, younger than Amir. وهي ابنة 40 سنة, while she was, yeah, you know now. وهي ابنة 40 سنة, while she was 40 years old. رضي الله تعالى عنها. وقيل 28 سنة, while she was 28 years old. The Prophet ﷺ was 25 years old. So there is no any contradiction in Islam. There is no any prohibition that you are going to marry either who is older than you or your inmate or younger than you. It's only in Hausa, this written principle that you have to be 10 years older than your own spouse. I don't know where they got it, but maybe they have their own reasons. But Amir cannot relate. Since yes, even after that, she even confessed. Though it was indirectly, because it is through a second messenger. She sent Nufaisa and Nafisa bint Munayya, but she confessed. But then in Hausa, but he must speak. He must speak for himself. Even after Amir went there and speak, she will be like, I will think of it. Yes, he has to stay and wait for like 3 months. So that is, by the way. Malam said, هل تزوج النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قبلها رضي الله عنها? Did the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم got married before her? May Allah be pleased with him? Malam said, no. لم يتزوج النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قبلها رضي الله تعالى عنها. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم did not get married to any other wife before her. Malam said, وهل تزوج النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم غيرها معها? Did the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم get married to any other wife aside her or beside her together and made them together with her? Did she have any barira? Did she have any co-wife during her own life? Malam said, حاشا لله. لم يتزوج النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حتى ماتت رضي الله تعالى عنها. He didn't get married to any other wife. Daya temkar da dubu ko in ji Malam Bahaushe. 1 against 1,000. That is, by the way. You know, even Nana Aisha used to say this. ما غيرت على أحد من امرأة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ما غيرت على خديجة. I've never felt this envious. Can I use this word? Envious to any other wife. Jealous, yes. I have never felt jealous to any wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. ما غيرت على خديجة. The way I feel envious to Nana Khadija. She will even say, when the Prophet ﷺ is saying his things, she will be like, Habba, kan abdalakallahu khayran minha. Allah has already replaced you with who is better than her. She means herself. He say, Kai. Yes. So, innaha kanat wa kana li minha walad. He will be saying things and things. Wa kana li minha walad. She is the only one that I have my own children from her. That is one. And also, it is written here also that he used to what? He used to slaughter a goat or a ram or something. And he will be like, where are those close friends of Nana Khadija? Take everything and divide it between them. He will be like, just friends. She used to say that those old, because during that time they were all old. Because she will be like older than the Prophet ﷺ. Let's say that the Prophet ﷺ is 60. So she is like 63. And her own friends will be like 63, 65. But that's if you said she is 28. If you say she is 40. So during that time, let's say she was 80. Her friends will be like 80 something, 90 something. But whenever they come to the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet ﷺ will come directly and praise them and respect them and bring things to them. And she will be like, Kaaba. She has been already dead for like a decade. All her friends are now very old. They are grandparents nowadays. And look how the Prophet ﷺ is doing this. So that is, by the way, if there is mutual understanding, mutual respect, love and prosperity and everything, nothing is impossible. But let me borrow their own. Let me keep quiet. Malam said, ما أصدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم المؤمنين. What was the dowry of Nana Khadija رضي الله عنها? Khadija bint Khuwailid رضي الله تعالى عنها. Malam said, أصدقها رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم 20 بكرة. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم gave her the dowry of 20 cows, 20 fully fledged cows. وقيل أصدقها فحلا, while others said أصدقها فحلا, it was camels. He gave the dowry of camels. We know Bakra. There is difference between Abi Bakr and Abi Bakra. We know Abi Bakr. That's Abdullah ibn Abi Quhafa. Then there is what? Abi Bakra, Nufay ibn Harith al-Thaqafi. Why was he called Nufay ibn Harith al-Thaqafi? Because he entered them when he was performing his hijrah or running away from one thing, but he entered in between cows or camels and then he escaped. So they call him Abi Bakra. So Bikr is a virgin, while Bakra are cows or camels or something like that. Now Bakara. So yeah, exactly. That is, by the way. Malam said, "Ma hiya silatu." Okay, man hiya sila baina zawajihim al-mubarak. Who was the second messenger? Who is the intermediary between for the marriage of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Said, "Hiya sadiqatuha Nafisa bintu Munayya." You see how Amir is smiling, ba? So she was the bridge between the two of them. Here Sadiqatu Nafisa bintu Munayya. We mentioned what happened earlier, ba? She went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and she was doing some round about some things. What do you say about a lady that has this manzila wa waqar wa jamal wal mal? So no problem. Now what are you talking about? Nana Khadija, that one is above my own pay limit. No. So she was like, no, what if she has interest and everything can be okay? She said, so mashallah, inshallah. So Annabi sallallahu accepted and she went back and everything continued, and they lived happily ever after. So what happened? This is the benefit of good friendship, so not you will be sitting and you will be doing on your own segumis about the hijabs of this one and the phone of that one and the cap of Amir and other things. No, that is not what is supposed to be. So Malam said, "Ayo Amir yashiga uku." So Malam said, "Mada qala laha Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam hina qattahu Jibril thalatha marratin fi ghari Hira." So this is the place, we all know the story. Let me just mention it briefly. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they said, An-Nubuwah has been divided into, is it 26? No, 46. It has been divided into 46 subgroups. One of them was Ru'ya as-Salihah. What does this hadith mean? It means that when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was around 39 and a half years, or around 39 years. So, can I say 39? So, before Nubuwa, what happened was that the Prophet ﷺ was being inspired to just isolate himself from all this worship of the inside Mecca, to isolate himself and worship God on the deen of Nabi Ibrahim. May Allah be pleased with him. So, what happened was that he was isolating himself. That is what. Even before that, فَكَانَ يَرَى رُؤْيَا الصَّالِحَةِ لِمُدَّةِ سِتَّةَ أَشْهُرٍ. That is what it means. If you divide 23, the whole nubuwah, the whole period of his nubuwah, that's 23 years. So if you divide it into 0.5, into 6 months, you will get like 46. So that is what the hadith means. If he has been prophet for 23 years, so he before he was sent by 6 months, he was seeing this ru'ya salihah, the true dreams. You just get فَكَانَ لَا يَرَى رُؤْيَا. He used to be seeing a ru'ya, a dream. فَكَانَ لَا يَرَى رُؤْيا. He has not been seeing any dream إِلَّا جَاءَتْ مِثْلَ فَلَقِ الصُّبْحِ. By the time he sees it, the following morning, it will happen. How can you say in English? Like exactly what happens inside that dream. It will be, yes. What? Yes, the replica of what he saw. Thank you very much. The replica of what he saw inside his dream will just happen during that day. So after that, he also used to say that what Even the trees and the stones and the mountains of Mecca used to be praising him and greeting him, Assalamu alayka ya Rasulallah. Inni la'arifu hajaran bi Makkah kana yusallimu alayhi. I still know a stone, or yes, in Mecca that used to be greeting me. So Anabi Sallallahu was like, he does not understand fully what was happening, but since Hubbiba ilayhi al-khala, he used to isolate himself, so he went there for like 1 month. فكان يتزود في دار خديجة بقى. He took his own belongings, he stuffed himself and carried his car and went to غار حراء. He spent like a month or 2 there and he comes back. So بين هو في غار حراء, when he was there فكان يتعبد في غار حراء وهو التحنث, فكان يتحنث وهو التعبد. So he used to be praying there and performing his all worships. One day the angel came and he was like, Iqra, read. So we know that the Prophet ﷺ was an ummi. He does not read and he does not write. So the Prophet was like, Ma ana biqari'in. I am not a reader. I cannot read. So فأخذني فغطني الأولى. He squeezed him once حتى بلغ من الجهد, until it reached the maximum limit of wahala. How can you say, of suffering? He suffered really well. Then he released him and said what? Iqra, read. فَقُلْتُ مَا أَنَا بِقَارِئٍ. It happened 3 times. Then he mentioned what? After he released him, he was like, اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. The first 5 verses that were revealed. So فأعادها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ترجف فؤاده. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم repeated those verses. What? ترجف فؤاده. His heart was frightened. Catacola mines, adrenaline, no adrenaline, everything was like in. So the angel went back. So the Prophet ﷺ packed his things and went back directly to his wife. He was like, Zammiluni, Zammiluni, Dathiruni, Dathiruni. The issue was that they used to say what? After that, they used to say in our when we were children, I don't know whether it is still valid or what. She was like, if it was an angel, he will live, but if I open my hair, if it is not an angel and a jinn, he will what? He will stay. So after she just exposed something about her hair, the angel that the Prophet ﷺ used to be seeing will just disappear. Wallahu a'lamu bi thubuti dhalik. What we are sure about was that what? When he was quite calm, he mentioned that he saw this, and this happened. And she was like, what? And he mentioned that Wallahi laqad khashitu ala nafsi. I was afraid about myself. I was afraid that I was going to die. I was afraid that something bad is going to happen to me. She mentioned that la Wallahi ma yukhzika Allahu abada. It is next what we are reading back. So before that, qala laha Rasulullah zammiluni, cover me up. Laqad khashitu ala nafsi. We know what happened to this. What happened when the Prophet ﷺ mentioned this? I was afraid of myself, about myself. So ماذا صنعت له وماذا قالت له? What did she say and what did she do to him? فقد زملته. She covered him up. وقالت كلا, no. أبشر. Feel pleased. والله ما يخزيك الله أبدا. قل لا يخزيك الله أبدا. Allah will never forsake you. Allah will never put you into shame. إنك لتصل الرحم. Why? Because he knows all the khisal al-mahmuda, all the righteous things that are supposed to be inside a man, they were available in abundance with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Innaka latasilur rahim. What can we say about rahim? What is the English word of rahim? Kinship. Yes. You visit your kinships. Let me leave it like this. What is Saddiq al-Hadith? And you are saying truth, only the truth in your speech. وَتَحْمِلُ الْكَلَّ. Yes, وَتَحْمِلُ الْكَلَّ, not kala. Kala is kala feed, what you are going to. So وَتَحْمِلُ الْكَلَّ. You used to sponsor other people. وَتَكْسِبُ الْمَعْدُومِ. Even if someone used to provide to the ones that don't have. Al-ma'dum is who does not have anything. So wataksibul ma'dum, used to provide to those that have nothing. Wataqrid dayf, and you used to what? Kana tarbabbaki. You used to welcome visitors and provide for them. That's what Bahaushe said. Gara wataqrid dayf, kana baki gara. taqari gara in ji malam Bauchi wa tu'inu ana nawaibil haqq, and anything that is for the sake of the truth, you used to help for the sake of the truth, anything that is righteous, that is supposed to be, and the Prophet sallallahu will be in the front line to make sure that that thing happens. لقد شهدت حلف المطيبين مع عمومتي وما أحب أن لي به حمر النعم. Even before the Prophet ﷺ was sent as a prophet, even before he was 40, he was like 20 during that time when Harbul Fijar happened. We know Harbul Fijar, this unrighteous, unholy battle that happened between Quraysh and Qais Aylan. We know about it, the Quraysh and Kinana, while Qais Aylan and others. Is it Khuza or one other Qabila? I can't remember. It's just one, is it something that is not supposed to reach the battle? One notorious person and other notorious person were in front of a king, and they were like, the king was asking, who is going to carry my things and send it to Quraysh during the era of how can I say, during the era of Hajj. We know Al-Ashhur al-Hurum, Dhul Qaidah, Dhul Hajj, Muharram, and then Rajab. So during those Ashhur al-Hurum, there used to be Suq Ukaz, the market of Ukaz used to be open, then Majanna and Dhul Majaz on 3 days, different months. So what happened was, like, he asked who is going to take his things and bring it to those markets and sell his goods. The other one was, yes, I'm going to take it and sell it to Banu Kinana. And the other one was like, أفاتك خليعا من قومه أكلبا فاتكا خليعا من قومه to attack. Are you giving a dog, the one that has been exiled by his people, are you going to give it to him to go and send to sell your kaya to them? No, give it to me. I'm going to sell it, not even to Kinana, to the whole of Arab. So the other one that was called a dog was angry and furious. So Fatara Basa, and he killed this other one. So he killed him. He was also exiled from his people. This one was exiled, this one was exiled. They were like, no, we are tired of you guys, just go. We have exiled you from us. But we know Al-Arab, and they are on this Hamiyah. So the family of this one, the murdered person were angry. So they went and also killed this person and added an addendum. So they didn't kill one, they killed like 2 or 3. The other ones were also furious, so a battle erupted. And the battle was fil ashhur al-hurum, fil shahr al-haram. They killed and killed and killed, and they are also calling in their allies. So Kinana called Quraysh, while Qais Aylan called another Qabila that I forgot about. So they were battling. So the Prophet ﷺ was also in between that battle. So when the battle was at its peak, that you can't do otherwise, the battle has to stop because of how the bloodshed and everything. They decided to one sheikh, I also forgot his name, I'm sorry. They decided that he should be the verdict. So he was like, let's count the number of dead bodies on this side and number of dead bodies on this side. The numbers that are added upon, we are going to give diya. So at first they did not agree, but since there are so many catastrophes from both sides, they decided that yes, let's accept and condescend and accept that. So they saw that Qais Aylan was the one that was to give that was to be given the diya. So they gave Abu Sufyan while he was also young as a rahina. Ar-rahan. What's ar-rahan in English? I can't even remember. So they kept it as a jingina that if they pay the ransom or the diya, they will collect him back. I hope we understand what we mean. So the fact was that after they gave him as the rahan, as the contingency, let's leave it as a contingency. Yes, and collateral, but contingency is more hyperluting. So as a collateral, after they gave him as the collateral, and they gave them the diya, they collected him back. So Quraysh sat back, and also they said that since what happened is this, all these kinds of notorious things that are happening, and also before that there is this kind of things that one person that is unknown will bring his kaya to Mecca, and one elite will collect the things and will not pay him. Will collect his things and will not pay him back. So why? Because he doesn't have anybody, and this person is an elite. So many incidents happen. One of them was the Mu'jiza of the Prophet ﷺ. If there is time, we will mention it later. But for now, so they sat and they said that there should be no any zaliman. There is no any Muslim. There is no any person that will come and will have his things confiscated or collected. Bizulmin, that will not we will not make an ally or will not put our heads all together. We will collect his own things from that whoever person that collected that things. So that was the Prophet why I'm saying this was that the Prophet sallallahu when he witnessed this, he was the happiest among them. That he said what? Shahid to hilf al-mutayyibin, because there will be no any person that will be in Makkah as a Muslim, that someone will could just collect his things and without paying, or he will just be confiscated of his things بغير حق. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after that, he said that what وما أحب أن لي به حمر النعيم. That truth, that memorandum of understanding that was written was the happiest of all the things that he ever witnessed during that time. He was around 20 to 23 years old. If I was asked to be given the Lamborghini of this time, Lamborghini Urus or Lamborghini Veneno, $8 million, so if I were to be given all those kind of things, I will not be happier than that memorandum that was signed. So وَتُعِينُ أَنَا نَوَائِبِ الْحَقِّ, anything that was what? في حق الإسلام, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, في حق الخير, and the Prophet will strive against it. And also we all know this mu'jiza. Was it Abu Jahl or Asi bin Wa'il or Uqba bin Abi Mu'ayth? Either of these three. He collected one of the things of one of those business people, and he said, call whoever you are going to ask. I am not paying. It was Abu Jahl. Now Amr bin Hisham. So he said, call whoever you are going to call. I am not paying. So he was like, he sat down sadly and angrily. He was thinking, am I to leave these things and go back to my place? I don't even have the money. So what am I going to do? One person will just call him and say, go to that person sitting under that shade of the tree and tell him what happened. So he went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, Ya Rasul, oh, are you Muhammad? Yes, I am Muhammad. What happened? I have these things. I have my luggages and kaya from my merchandise. I brought to this person, his name is this and this and that, but he said that he has confiscated it and he's not paying. Whoever I'm going to call, I should go and call. So I was redirected to you. So he was like, they sent you to me? They sent you. Okay, let's go. He went to his house and knock, knock, knock. Who is there? It is me. He just opened. His eyes were wide open and there was, is it midriasis or meiosis? Yes, midriasis. His eyes were wide open. What happened? Did you know this person? Yes. What happened? I collected his things, merchandise. So he is asking you to pay him. Okay, just give me 2 minutes. He entered his house. He brought all those money and gave him. All the people were, what happened? It was just few minutes ago that you are boasting that you are not. He should call whoever he is going to call. You are not paying, and then suddenly, in less than 2 minutes, you've already took all the money and you've already given without even counting. Allah is the only one that knows whether you've added something on top of the money or not. So he was like, you didn't know you didn't see what I saw. You saw, can we say, a camel, the ajniha, with his wings wide open, and his mouth was spitting fire. He just saw that Amali behind the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, spitting fire. If I didn't give that person that money, haba, Allah is the only one that knows what will happen to me. So safety first, ba? Noli prime no sorry. First, do no harm. So do no harm was like for me to give him his things back and to be on the safer side. So what we أنا نوائب الحق رواه البخاري. كم أقامتنا مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. ما لم said أقامت معه 24 سنة. She stayed with him 24 to 25 years until the 10th year after the prophecy of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, عام الحزن, while she died and Abi Talib died. So Malam said, وَمَا فَأَضَائِلُهَا رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهَا وَاللَّهِ فَضَائِلُهَا لَا تُعَدُّ وَلَا تُحْصَى. It's just that because of time and because of the book, let us just brush these ones and go. Malam said, وَفَضَائِلُهَا كَثِيرًا مِنْهَا قَوْلُهُ صلى الله عليه وسلم خَيْرُ نِسَائِهَا, the best among the wives, the best of the ladies inside it. What? يعني الجنة خديجة بنت خويلد. وخير نسائها Maryam bint Imran. The best among the ladies inside the Jannah, Maryam bint Imran. Rawahu al-Bukhari wa Muslim radiyallahu ta'ala anha. We also mention the greetings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also the bishara wa bishirha bi baitin min qasabin la sakhaba fihi wa la nasab. We mentioned it earlier in our previous lessons. Malam said, Rawahu al-Bukhari wa qawluhu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam li Aisha. Wallahi ma abdalani Allah khairan minha. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not replaced me with anyone better than her. Because their own is just emotional support. All his other wives were just providing emotional support. But her, she is providing emotional support, financial support, statistical support, whatever support you can think of. Wallahi, she is the one providing it. Now, even parental and parental, if you mention it. So she provides all the support for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that is by the way. So Malam said, Harbashar Allah Ta'ala bil Jannah. Did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give her bishara of Jannah? It has been truncated. But yes, قد بشر الله بالجنة. هذه خديجة قد أتتك فإذا هي أتتك فقرأ عليها السلام من الله تعالى وبشرها ببيت من قصب لا صخب فيه ولا نصب. If only this is suffice. And then خير نسائها يعني الجنة خديجة بنت خويلد وخير نسائها مريم. And also the other ahadith that mention the whole universe. The whole of the universe, the best ladies that we have are these four, in other riwayats 5. The Nana Khadija is the first one. All the time she is the first one that is mentioned. Then Maryam ibn Imran, and then Nana Aisha, and then Asiya bint Muzahib, and sometimes Nana Fatima radiyallahu ta'ala anha. So, Malam said, Hal salla alayha Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Salat al-Janaza, did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, did the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam prayed on her? Malam said, Naam. But qalat Aisha radhiyallahu anha, Amara Rabbuhu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam an yubashirha bi baytin fil jannati min qasabin radiyallahu ta'ala anha. وسئل عبد الله بن أبي أوفى بشر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم خديجة فقالت نعم. قال نعم ببيت من قصب لا صخب فيه ولا نصب. I already translated everything here, ba? ببيت من قصب, one transparent house made of glass. لا صخب فيه, no shouting. ولا نصب, no fatigue. It's only chilling and enjoyment. Loading doors and maintenance. You have no any problem with that. Malam said, ما اسم عمها الذي زوجها للرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم. Who was her wali? The one that married her to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. Malam said, his name was Amr ibn Asad wa kana shaykhan kabiran. His name was Amr ibn Asad. Khadija bintu Khuwaylid bin Asad bin Abdul Uzza. Well, this one was Amr bin Asad bin Abdul Uzza. And also among her relatives, there is this Waraqa bin Nawfal. Waraqa bin Nawfal bin Asad bin Abdul Uzza. He was like a cousin to her. She was the one that she took to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to, and he was Nasranian. He was a Christian by then. He reads the holy book. The holy book then was Injil, the Bible. So he reads it and he translated it to Ibraniya and then to Arabic. فَكَانَ يَكْتُبُ بِالْعِبْرَانِيَّةِ مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ أَنْ يَكْتُبُ. So when the Prophet ﷺ mentioned all those things to him, he said, هَذَا النَّامُوس. What you are saying was the messenger. Which messenger? The messenger that used to come to Musa and Isa radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Alayhimus salam. So he was like, Ya laytani kuntu fiha jaz'an, Ya laytani kuntu shaban, hina yukhrijuka abuka minha. How I wish I was younger. How I wish I was strong and young when your people will will exile you, will chase you out of Makkah. The Prophet ﷺ was like, they will chase me out of Makkah. He said, yes, there is no any prophet that will live with his people until in one way or the other they chase him out. Think of any prophet that you can remember. It's either they chase him out or they are about to chase him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, go. Any of them. Let's take back. The Prophet Isa, alayhi salatu wasalam. They even came to kill him until you do Zakaria Yuta, the one they call Judas. They call Judas with another name, we call him with another name. From our own perspective, there is something that happened. From their own perspective, there is what happened. From our own perspective, Judas Zakaria Yuta was the one that took the feshi of the Prophet Isa. They killed him and hanged him and crossed him, put him on the cross, while Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took Nabi Isa, وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُ. What about Prophet Musa? What about Prophet Isa, Ibrahim, Isa, Lut? All of them is either they are about to be chased or they are about to be killed. وَلَوْلَا رَحَتُكَ لَرَجَمْنَاكَ وَمَا أَنْتَ عَلَيْنَا بِعَزِيزٍ. I even forgot what I'm going to think of. But let's just continue. By the way, so all the prophets is either they are about to be killed, or they are about to be exiled, or the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be the one that asks them, "Fasri bi ahlika aw fa asri bi ahlika bi qit'in min al-layl waltafit wa tabi adbara aw quma wa la yaltafit minkum ahadun wa hum haythu umar." All of them until what? It's only one of them, that left without permission. And what happened to him? فَالْتَقَمَهُ الْحُوتُ وَهُوَ مُلِيمٌ. One bolus swallow. He was swallowed as a whole, but by a whale. فَلَوْلَا أَنَّهُ كَانَ مِنَ الْمُسَبِّحِينَ لَلَبِثَ فِي بَطْنِهِ إِلَى يَوْمِ يُبْعَثُونَ. So, that is by the way. Malam said, ببيت من قصب لا صخب فيه ولا نصب مسمع عمها. Okay, we did this. كم أولادها رضي الله تعالى عنها. أولاد النبي. We all know this. ولها تسعة أولاد. So there is an addendum. She had three more. Now, there is Hind bin Abi Hala, وطاهر bin Abi Hala, وهند bin Atiq bin Aid, وقاسم وعبد الله وزينب وأم كلثوم ورقية وفاطمة أولاد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. There is this Tahir bin Abi Hala, either him or his child. During after the demise of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes, it was his child. I can't remember his child, the name. But he was inside the masjid. He was praying anyhow. So one of the Sahaba called him and corrected the prayer. And then after he left, one of the Sahaba asked the other, "Do you know who is this?" He said, "No." So he said, "This is Wani ibn Tahir bin Abi Hala, the grandchild of Nana Khadija radiyallahu ta'ala anha." So then he said, "Allahu Akbar. Law ra'ahu an-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ra'ahabbahu." If the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam were to see him, he would have loved him. Because anything regarding Khadija, just put Khadija and you will put Annabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in a very great mood for the whole of the day. Radiyallahu ta'ala anhu ajma'in. So Malam said, "Mata tuwfiyat Ummul Mu'minin Khadija bint Khuwaylid radiyallahu ta'ala anha." Malam said, when did she die? Malam said, "Tuwfiyat Ummul Mu'minin Khadija qabla al-hijrah bi 3 sinin." Before the hijrah with 3 years. Walam yusalli alayha. He didn't pray on her. لأن يومئذ لم تكن سنة الجنازة. Because during that time there is no any sunnah of janaza. It was not decreed to be prayed upon. So ومن نزل في قبرها رضي الله عنها, who entered her grave while holding her and putting her onto her final resting place. Madam said, وَنَزَلَ فِي قَبْرِهَا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. He himself entered her grave. May Allah be pleased with her. And دُفِنَتْ رضي الله تعالى عنها دُفِنَتْ بِالْحِجُونَ. There is a place called Hijun. She was buried there. كم عمرها حين توفيت رضي الله عنها. How old was she? توفيت وهي بنت 65. She was 65 years old. If we say she was 60, she was 40 then. But if we say she was if she says she was 28 then, so if you have 23 years, that's how much? 51, 52, or 53. So that is, by the way. My maths has been rendered useless. disuse atrophy. Allah, anything 2 plus 3 times 2 minus 1. I'm always in my calculator, so I'm sorry. Malam said, ماذا كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يصنع بعد وفاتها تعظيما لها? What was the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم used to do after her demise? Malam said, كان يذبح الشاة. He used to be slaughtering akuya. So, ويقول أرسلوها إلى أصدقاء خديجة. He used to say, send it to the friends of Nana Khadija. Divide it and send it to the friends of Nana Khadija radiyallahu ta'ala anhu ajma'in. Rawahu Muslim. وَمَاذَا تَقُولُ فِي أُمِّ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ خَدِيجَةَ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهَا وَمَاذَا نَقُولُ? What will we say about Nana Khadija radiyallahu anha? Malam said, نَقُولُ جَزَاهَا اللَّهُ
Islam in what he has offered for the whole of Islam, the Muslimin and the Muslims. وَأَنْ يَجْمَعَنَا مَعَهَا فِي دَارِ النَّعِيمِ. May Allah make us meet together with her في دار النعيم. آمين. وإنها للجنة أبدا. Just imagine, we are all striving for Jannah. We are all striving here for Jannah. Our Ramadan upon Ramadan, our fasting, our qira'ah, our everything. And then these people have already been blessed with Jannah. And that didn't make them to stop working. One Malam said it, and wallahi it was true. If one of us has been appointed that you are a dweller of Jannatul Firdaus, you will see any sort of nonsense. Well, so either is the issue, but Allah does not retract. You will see all sorts of nonsense. The best thing, even the Malam said, the best thing that he will do, he will be on his bed with the speaker. Inna alhamdulillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'in. If you like, listen. If you like, don't listen. That is what they are doing. But look at them. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam knows he is the best among the best. But فَكَانَ يَقُومُ اللَّيْلِ حَتَّى تَتَفَطَّرَ قَدَمَهُ, until his legs become swollen up. Pitting pedal edema. So after that, what happened? The Sahaba, and he also says, أَفَلَا أَكُونُ عَبْدًا شَكُورًا. After that, the Sahaba, look at Sayyidina Uthman. Man jahaza jaysa al-usra falahu al-jannah. He did it. Man ishtara bi'ira ma'una bi'ira ruma falahu al-jannah. Ishtaraha. Abu Bakr fil jannah, Umar fil jannah, Uthman fil jannah, Ali fil jannah. But he used to be thinking, there is one day, was it Umar or Ali, went to him and said, Assalamu alayka ya Uthman. He did not hear. So Umar was like, Abu Bakr, you know what happened? No, I did not know. I went to Sayyidina Uthman and I said Assalamu alaikum to him and he did not answer. Which kind of friendship is this? So let's go to him. Uthman, what happened? Why did Sayyidina Umar say his salam to you and you did not answer? He said Assalamu alaikum. Wallah, I didn't see him, I didn't hear him. What happened? He was just thinking about Akhirah and what is happening. Look for the ones that have stratified Bishara from Jannah. They are not hearing even a single salam, and they did not see who passed beyond them. But we in this place, let me just keep quiet. I'll just keep quiet now. I'm not thinking about you guys. I'm even thinking about myself now. Even me, there are so many things that I might not do alive. You know, there's one of our malams that said, there is a hikmah in everything that Allah does. Look at our hearts and look at the situation and the era that we are living. If we are brought in that place, it's either we are hypocrites, or we will be the kuffar that will be very hard to call into Islam. Even if we are going to be Muslims, it will be very hard to take it. Well, it's a fact now. Allah saw our hearts and said, no, let's leave them in 2026. They will come, pray a little, fast a little, recite Quran, and they will enter Jannah. Because if we are together with Abu Jahl and Abu Lahab and everything, it will be very hard to call into Islam one life. So there is hikmah in everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does. So Malam said, The next wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, her title is تحب أن تبعث في نسائه صلى الله عليه وسلم. She wants to be resurrected as one of his wives. May Allah be pleased with her. من هي التي تحب أن تبعث في نسائه صلى الله عليه وسلم. Who was the one that was to be resurrected among his wives? هي أم المؤمنين زوج النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم زوج سيدنا, the wife of the leader of the all creators, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Sauda bint Zam'a bin Qais. We all see that Malam said زوج سيد الخلق زوج سيد الخلق زوج النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم سيد ولد بني آدم وما شابه ذلك. This is because this ideology that some people used to say, why the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Malaika Jibril came to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he was like, oh Prophet, yes, I used to see one bright light that comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and perform a sujood. It comes once every 70,000 years. And after, if it comes, it used to perform sujood for 70,000 years. I saw it for 70,000 times. So I was still asking, what was that? And they was like, and the Prophet was like, I was the one now. So 70,000 times. Just imagine, the light comes every 70,000 times. Whenever it comes, it stays praying for 70,000 years. And then it leaves. It will not come back until on another 70,000 years. So the Prophet I was the one. And then they used to say that
where he was a portion of the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you will think that this is good, but if you take it and if you take it from other side, it is just saying something like Allah subhanahu, since he is part of the Prophet, since he is part of Allah, what does that mean? So you are saying that indirectly that he is part of Allah and part of Allah is Allah. That's one. And also Adam also is part of the nur of the Prophet. So indirectly they are saying this concept of wahdatul wujud. So you can be Allah, I can be Allah, everything can be Allah. Wal-iyadu billah, subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanallah, amantu billahi wa rasulihi ba. So it might be that I have already went out. Wal-iyadu billah. So I am back, inshallah. So wal-iyadu billah. That is, by the way, they are saying so much nonsense that they are trying to lure you into something that is completely out of your comprehension. So because if you say you are part of Allah, ولا يزال عبدي يتقرب إلي بالنوافل حتى أحبه فإذا أحببته كنت سمعه الذي يسمع به وبصره الذي يبصر بها ويده التي يبطش بها. If you mention this, they said that if Allah has become your hand that you are stretching and He's become your eyes that you are seeing, has become your head, we all know what that means now. It means that you will be in the care of Allah. You are not. If you are that close to Allah, Allah will not leave you to be doing all those kind of things. But what they mean is that if Allah is your eyes and Allah is your legs and Allah is you have become Allah. Subhanallah. And also, وَعْبُدَ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينَ. Pray, worship your God until yaqeen comes to you. If it becomes yaqeen, so you have also kayi hululi, kayi fana'i. So an shiga halara ta yi girgiza, wal iyazu billahi. So this is kind of nonsense that Malam is subtly and idiopathically and what can I say? Yes, he is just telling us that An-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is saying, قُلْ إِنَّمَا أَنَا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُكُمْ وَهُوَ بَشَرٌ. Ibn Adam, Sayyidu Khalqillah, is also a creator. So that is, by the way. Malam said, زوج سيد الخلق محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم سودة بنت زمعة bin Qais. So let's continue. I will mention everything. وَمَسْمُ أُمِّهَا رضي الله عنها. What's the name of her own mother? وأمها الشموس بنت قيس بن زيد. متى أسلمت أم المؤمنين سودة بنت زمعة رضي الله تعالى عنها? When did she become Muslim? When did she enter into Islam? أسلمت أم المؤمنين سودة بمكة قديما. She was tale. Since she has become Muslim, since وهي من السابقين الأولين في الإسلام رضي الله تعالى عنها. Balaam said, هل هاجرت أم المؤمنين سودة رضي الله تعالى عنها? نعم. She performed two hijrah. أولهما إلى الحبشة. The first one was to Habasha, while the second one was to Medina. The first one infuriated all her relatives. They were very angry with her because she was a Muslim. She entered into Islam despite all the suffering, all the threatening and other things. She insisted on Islam and even traveled with all those people that traveled to Habasha. وَثَانِهِمَا إِلَى الْمَدِينَةِ. The second one, she is already a wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so she has to follow him. Man huwa zawjuha qabla an-nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was her husband before the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Mala said, who was Sarran here, but the ideal name was Sakran bin Amri. He was also a Sahabi. He died. He died very early in Islam, but he was a Sahabi. وَحَسُنَ إِسْلَامُهُ وَكَانَ مِنَ الْمُؤَازِرِينَ لِلْإِسلام. So he died. After that, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam got married to her. Mata tazawwajaha Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. She was the, okay, we can say she was the first wife after Nana Aisha and Nana Khadija that he lived with. There is this, who among them between her and Nana Aisha was the next wife after the demise of Nana Khadija? Just after Nana Khadija passed, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam married the two of them. So, which one was first and which one was second? The ulama said that he married Nana Aisha first, but then she was very young during that time. So, he lived together with Nana Sauda bint Zam'ah radiallahu anha. What was that question that I was asked, that Annabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam loves women? Yes. So, that all his marriage was for lust. How old was she? We are going to be told. Now, كم أعطاها. Okay, تزوجها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في شوال السنة العاشرة من النبوة بعد موت خديجة رضي الله عنها. After the demise of Nana Khadija رضي الله عنها, he got married to her. So كم أعداها من الصداق رضي الله عنها. How much was her dowry that he gave her? أعطاها 400 درهم رضي الله عنها. He gave her 400 dirhams. I used to be able to count and convert them to our own currency nowadays, but I'm not been coming. Good idea. But you know, he said that this khayru zawaj. No, I can't remember the hadith. The best dowry was the one that was not. Not that one. So we all forgot. May Allah forgive us. So what the hadith was saying was that what? The least the sadaq, the better the barakah. Yeah. Now, continue. Exactly. Jazakallahu khairah. So for the righteousness of a spouse is for what? Sadaqaha an yakuna aqal. This during the time was not. You cannot say that it is the highest abna. Just that Naira was so humble. They used to say home training want to kill Naira. Naira is too humble that every nonsense will come and she will just be humble and will be like, okay, just go up, I will be down. So that is by the way. But the closest that we are saying is that the only empire nowadays that uses dirham, I think, is Kuwait. Kuwait still use dirham, and one dirham for them was like $3. So you can calculate. Yes, their dirham is one of the strongest currency now. It's more than dollar. One dirham is like $3. Although in relation to naira, it is not that strong, but in relation to dollar, it is very strong. So if you are to convert and then reconvert, if you are to convert it to dollar and reconvert it to naira, then you'll be super rich, right? 400 dirhams times 3 times 1,640 or 650. That's a bit much. But then, you know, the sadaq, the dowry of his wives is not more than 12 uqiyah. That 12 uqiyah. He doesn't give more than 12 uqiyah. One uqiyah is like 60. One uqiyah is like 60 dirham. So 60 times 12, how much? Me, I don't have math in my head. So 720. All the sadaq of his wife is less than that. Nothing more than that. So that is by the way. Malan said, كم أعطاها من الصداق 400 درهم. كم عمرها حين تزوجها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم؟ تزوجها وهي بنت 55 سنة. She is 55 years old. She is almost his own chin or up to his age when he married her. Was that for lust? Was that for enjoyment or something? No. There are just benefits that they are saying. There are benefits of each and every marriage that he has done. We will also see later, inshallah. So Malam said, تزوجها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وهي بنت 55 سنة رضي الله تعالى عنها. من زوجها للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, who married her, who was her wali, that married her to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. Malam said, هو حاطب ابن عمرو بن عبد الشمس رضي الله تعالى عنه. من هي الصلة بين زواجهم المبارك. Who was the intermediary? You see, another second messenger. Ladies and their friends. This is the benefit of friendship. So, Amir is still smiling. هي خولة بنت حكيم من الأوقس امرأة عثمان بن مسعود رضي الله تعالى عنهما. Malam said, هل أنجبت أم المؤمنين سودة مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم? Did she give birth to any child for the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم? Malam said, no. ما أنجبت مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. She didn't give birth to any of the children of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. And Malam added, كم روت عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من الأحاديث رضي الله عنها. How many ahadith did she reveal from the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم? Malam said, from the authentic part, the authentic ahadith that are used, she revealed only 5 رضي الله عنها. منها ما اتفق عليه البخاري ومسلم. So these are the ahadith that were authentic and they were revealed. Does that mean that she does not teach her family and relatives and others the guidance of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? No, it's only that the ahadith that were mentioned and they are authentic and they were captured in the writings. That is just by the way. All the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam are the wasita between them, but between the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and their own families. So if they are to ask something, they will come to their relative, the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They will ask. If she knows, she will tell them. If she doesn't know, she will what? Ask the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam on their behalf. That is by the way. So أقامت أم المؤمنين كم أقامت مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. How much did she stay with the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم? They said أقامت مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم 13 سنة. She stayed with the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم for a good 13 years. She was married 3 years before Hijrah. She stayed with the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم till after he went back to his Creator. May Allah be pleased with him. So what happened was, like, he got married to her 3rd year before Hijrah. So later on, since she was the oldest, ulama us-sunnah or ulama us-sirah mentioned that he wanted to get to divorce her. He wanted to divorce her. So she was like, Ali mawjidatin ya Rasulallah, did I do something wrong? He said no. He said no, it's not because of something wrong. So it's just that Kawai, he wanted to divorce her. So she said that no. أحب أن أبعث في نسائك يوم القيامة. I just want for me to be resurrected as one of your wives in the day of resurrection. So if it is about night or something like that, just give me this favor. Just do me this favor. Leave me as your wife. The day that you will be staying inside my room, I will have to her Lidana Aisha, the most beloved wife of yours. So my days, I have given it to Nana Khadija. You stay with Nana Khadija. Me, laysa li hajatun fi rijal. She has already reached menopause. She has no any desire for men or something like that. So she just wants to stay as his wife. Her days and something like that, make it to Nana Aisha radiallahu anha. So that is what happened. That was the title of the Abu Namar Tuhibbu an tub'atha fi nisa'ihi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. She conceded all her days to Nana Aisha for her to be his wife and to stay his wife ila yawm al-qiyamati. Radiyallahu ta'ala anha. Malam said, Okay. Malam said 10 minutes. So the other Malam said, وَمَا فَضْلُهَا رَضِيَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى عَنْهَا وَكَفَى بِأُمِّ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ سَوْدَةَ فَضْلًا أَنَّ النَّبِيَّ صلى الله عليه وسلم توفي وهو عنها راضٍ. It has reached Sidratul Muntaha for her that he died, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed and he was pleased with her. وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ أَنزَلَ فِي حَقِّهَا آيَاتٌ تُتْلَى إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. I'm sorry, I can't, I didn't check this ayat, wallahi. But an assignment for me. إلى يوم القيامة. متى توفيت أم المؤمنين سودة رضي الله تعالى عنها? When did she die? Malam said توفيت أم المؤمنين سودة رضي الله عنها في آخر زمان عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله تعالى عنها. She died during the era of Sayyidina Umar رضي الله تعالى عنه. We know that Sayyidina Umar, how many years did he do as a Khalifa? 10 years ba? So في أواخر زمانه. من غسلها رضي الله عنها وغسلتها أيمنة رضي الله عنها بركة الحبشية. I mentioned earlier, I was watching the other clip that I mentioned she passed either in the era of Prophet of Sayyidina Umar. It was Sayyidina Uthman. I'm sorry, it was a slip of tongue. And I also mentioned around year 60 after Hijrah. You also know that must definitely be a slip of tongue. So because Sayyidina Umar just did 10 years. So the Prophet ﷺ died at year 11, so from year 11 to year 13 was Sayyidina Umar, was Sayyidina Abu Bakr. From year 13 to year 23 was Sayyidina Abu Bakr. So from there to another 12 years, that was the era of Sayyidina Uthman. So she died, Ayman died during the era of Sayyidina Uthman, radiallahu ta'ala anha, around year 30 something. So Malam said, وَمَنْ صَلَّى عَلَيْهَا رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهَا. Malam said, who prayed on her? Malam said, وصلى عليها أمير المؤمنين عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله تعالى عنه. أنا دفنت. Where was she buried? دفنت في بقيع مع سائر أمهات المسلمين. She was buried in بقيع al-Gharqad, the graveyard of the wives and the Sahaba of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They were all buried here, except some of them that they did not live in Medina. You know, after the demise of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, تفرقوا في مدائن شتى. Some of them went back to Mecca, some of them to Medina, some to Sham, some to Baghdad, and all other places. So the wives of the Prophet ﷺ were almost all of them, if not all of them, were buried in Baqi' al-Gharqad. Now, Malam said, ماذا قالت أم المؤمنين عائشة في أم المؤمنين سودة? What did Nana Aisha said regarding Nana Sauda after her demise? So she said, ما رأيت امرأة أحب إلي. I have never seen a woman أحب إلي that I love to أن أكون في مسلاخها, to be in her own shoes or in her own skeleton, means Sauda radiallahu anha, because of her righteousness, rightfulness, good deeds, her sawm, her qiyam, her interactions with other people. So Nana Aisha was like, there is no any woman that I want to be like her other than Nana Sauda bint Zam'a radiallahu anha. So Malam said, ماذا نقول في أم المؤمنين سودة بنت زمعة رضي الله عنها ونقول رضي الله عنها, may Allah be pleased with her, وعلى مقامها, may Allah raise her status في جنة الفردوس, آمين, والله تعالى أعلم. So this book, we cannot finish this book. So if I enter this place, it's another Sambisa forest. So let's just leave it for now. سبحانك اللهم ربنا بحمدك نشهد ان لا اله الا انت نستغفرك ونتوب اليك. 1 or 2 questions inshallah. نشوزا او ارادا فلا جناح عليهما ان يصلح بينهما صلحا. So Malam mentioned it. So Malam reminded us, Jazahullah khaira, and about the verses that were revealed for Nana Sauda. وإن امرأة خافت من بعدها نشوزا أو إعراضا. If a woman خافت من بعدها, she is afraid from her own husband, نشوزا, derailment, أو إعراضا أو بجروا, that he is turning his head away from her, فلا جناح عليهما أن يصلحا بينهما صلحا. There is no any sin or any lefiba أن يصلحا بينهما صلحا, for them to sit and have a dialogue in between them. وَصِلْحُ خَيْرٍ وَأُحْضِرَتِ الْأَنفُسُ الشُّحَّ إِلَى مَا ذَلِكَ. جزاك الله خيرا. Thank you very much. Any other question? 1 or 2? 1 or 2 question, inshallah. So I have a question. Who was the tailor of Fir'aun? Fir'aun's tailor. Yes. Which color does Fir'aun prefer to? What is the size of the calf of Haman? Yes. How long is the shoe of Prophet Adam? These are nonsense questions. So I'm just asking them deliberately. La tas'alu an ashiya in tubida lakum tasu'ukum. That is one. And also these unnecessary questions. There are things in Zira that will be very beneficial for you. And there are things that, thank Allah, what is the size of Gajera and Fir'aun? What will that benefit you? The size of the calf of this. Who is the tailor of Fir'aun? Who is this Unuq bin Unuq now? Yes, who is the wife of Shaitan? Who are his daughters? Who is the firstborn of? What will that benefit you? These are the things that if you keep asking yourself or you keep reading about them, they are nonsense. They will not add you any knowledge. But if it is wives of the Prophet, the Sahaba, this and this, about the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam or his Sahaba or all those kind of things, these are beneficial. But please, don't invest your time, or we should not invest our time in asking all these kind of unnecessary questions. Like these questions that children used to ask us every year in Islamia. Malam, someone was eating during the day inside Ramadan, that he forgot he was fasting. He ate one dambu until the dambu reaches his throat here. He was crying. He remembered he was fasting. What will he do? What will that benefit us? Thank Allah. So there are these kind of nonsense questions that are not benefiting from anything. Exactly. Every year people will ask us this one, like. So may Allah forgive us. Any other question, please? No question back? سبحانك اللهم ربنا بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. There has been a lecture about the social cohesion of our prophet, which is wise. That reminds me on one of the Basira of the Qais bin Mulawwa. أحب من الأسماء ما وافق اسمها وأرضاه أو ما كان منه مدانيا. وسلمي فما أدري إذا ما ذكرتها للتين سليت الدها من ثمانية فهل بشيء غير ليلى الثانية. Used to say that أمر على ديار ليلى أقبل ذا الجدار ولا الجدار وأقبل ديار شغفنا قلبي ولا يحب من سكن الديار. وسؤال اللهم ربي أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك اللهم وأتوب إليك.
أضاها لغيري وابتلالي بحبها فهلا بشيء غير ليلى ابتلالي. الله أكبر.